Now to Iran. It's expected to announce today that it will restart its enrichment of uranium if a nuclear deal with Europe falls apart. It comes less than a month after the U.S. pulled out of the accord and as Israel's prime minister tours Europe in an effort to persuade other world leaders to follow suit. The Iran nuclear deal saw Tehran strictly limit its uranium enrichment capacity in exchange for sanctions relief. It was hoped the restrictions would prevent Iran from developing atomic bombs. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he wants discussions to remain focused on Iran as he begins talks in France today. Our correspondent Annelise Borges is in Paris for more on the story. Annelise, Netanyahu has been talking to Germany, France and the UK, and all of them have pledged their commitment to the Iran nuclear deal. Can Netanyahu convince them otherwise?
Well, that is a very good question. This three-day Europe tour is likely to be dominated by the differences between the Israeli Prime Minister and his EU counterparts with regards to the Iran nuclear deal. Of course, today he will be meeting the biggest advocate of the JCPOA, President Macron, who's been traveling the world, meeting foreign leaders, trying to salvage this deal. The French president says that this deal is not perfect, but it's better than no deal. But Benjamin Netanyahu believes that there's no point in fighting for an agreement with Iran now that the U.S. has pulled out of it. Take a listen to what the Israeli Prime Minister had to say in his first stop in this EU tour in Berlin on Monday.
I haven't changed my view of the JCPOA, but I think right now this is becoming a secondary question because the United States has left the deal. And I think the real question we have to confront today is what do we do about Iran's aggression?
So words of Benjamin Netanyahu, who's clearly looking for support here in Europe. He met Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor, who said they actually agree with the end game. They both want to avoid Iran from developing nuclear weapons. They just don't agree on how to get there, Tessa.
Yeah, and at least let's talk about Gaza. This is the first time the two are meeting after the deadly violence in the region.
Absolutely, and this is definitely going to come up. Israel faced almost universal international condemnation following those 2 days of violence that left 59 unarmed Palestinian protesters dead. More than 2,700 people were severely injured during those 2 days of violence. France had condemned the violence. The French president is said to have called Benjamin Netanyahu to actually express his and France's opposition to the violence, but also to the move of the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem. Now, of course, this will come up in conversation here in Paris, but also in the UK. The UK actually called the UN to launch an investigation into just why that volume of live ammunition was used against protesters, unarmed protesters in Gaza those 2 days.
All right. Thank you for that. Annelise Borges keeping an eye on those talks. Thanks.